Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is May 3rd, 2023, and we're getting into the volume 81 of me answering some of your immigration related questions. As you can see, I have all your comments pulled up here in front of me. Before I begin, I'm going to mention, as I always mention in every video on this channel, I am not an immigration attorney. This is not a legal advice. All the information that is provided on this channel is directly from official government sources like USCIS and of course the Department of State with their visa bulletin. So let's start with the very first comment from Anuva Munayem. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name. For F4 category, which is brothers and sisters of US citizens, how many more months will it take to finish the backlog? Anuva, so in general right now, if we look at the visa bulletin, the most recent one, the May 2023, if we start from the graph B, which starts with a priority date, and then it shows which applications that have been submitted back in, right now it shows February 2008. Right now, the portal, the NVC portal becomes accessible to the people, to the applicants that have submitted their applications back in February 2008, and they are now ready to start their documentary qualification process. And if we look in general, whenever it comes to the availability of the immigrant visa, it's just a year over that period of time, which goes to April 2007, which means that if you start today the I-130 petition for alien relative for your brother or sister as a US citizen in F4 category, you will be waiting roughly, let's see, April 2007, and right now we are roughly April 2023, which is May, I know months later, makes it complicated for me with math. That is 16 years, roughly 16 years. Again, things might speed up, things might slow down. It's really hard to tell if this backlog will ever be cleared. It probably will never be cleared because the reason why it accumulated is because we have limited amount of immigrant visas that are available each year. And there are more applications each year than there are available immigrant visas. So really the only way to clear this backlog is to, first of all, for the Department of Homeland Security, for the Department of State, is to increase the number of available immigrant visas, find a way to streamline the process, and there are a few conversations here and there that have been going around that they might get rid of those US Embassy interviews and here interviews at the field offices for that immigrant visa, to completely get rid of that. Why? Because you already established the relationship, you're already documentarily qualified, you established the financial support. What's the point of the interview? It really doesn't do anything. So we will see. It's really hard to tell right now, but as of right now, if you start the process right now, roughly 16 years. And that's a very long time, unfortunately. If you want, Anuva, you can give me your priority date and the status, whether it was already documentarily qualified or not, and also the chargeability area, and I might be able to give you some rough estimates specifically to your priority date. All right, let's move on to the next one from Walal Zaki. Again, sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name. IR2, which is immediate relative category, priority date June 2020, documentarily qualified July 2022, consulate Kenya. When should I expect an interview? Anytime now, really around the corner. The interview should be literally around the corner. Usually, I have seen where it's pretty quick. I have seen some cases where in immediate relative, it does not apply to any other preference. With an immediate relative, because you're not dealing with the backlog, you're not dealing with the availability of the immigrant visa. Basically, as soon as the case is approved by USCIS and is transferred to the NVC for further processing to become documentarily qualified, the immigrant visa is already available. So once you are documentarily qualified, it's literally just up to the consulate in whatever country. In your case, it's in Kenya. I'm not sure. It sounds like from your comment, it sounds like the embassy in Kenya is pretty busy, and that's why you're experiencing a little bit of delay. I have seen where interview was scheduled like 2 months after becoming documentarily qualified. I have seen where it was scheduled like 6, 7, maybe even 8 months after the beneficiary was documentarily qualified. So for you, it has been, let's see, July, December, it's 5, and then another 5. We are in May now, so roughly it has been 9-10 months. So it's taking a little bit on the longer side, but we can probably guess that Kenya is pretty busy whenever it comes to their schedule in general, because really it's up to them now to just schedule your interview and give you the immigrant visa. There are a few recommendations that I can give you that you can do just to kind of just feel better a little bit about the situation, and not like you're just sitting and waiting and not doing anything. First of all, you can reach out to the NVC, submit the public inquiry form with the NVC, let them know that, hey, I am documentarily qualified, I am in immediate relative category, so my immigrant visa should be available, but it's been 10 months already and my interview has not been scheduled. Can you please provide me an update on what's going on? And I'm going to show you right now how to do that public inquiry form, just in case if you don't know already, and it might be helpful for everybody else who's watching. So right now, this is the official government Department of State website, travel.state.gov, which is the sub website kind of like that they have specifically for the Bureau of Consular Affairs that deals with all the immigrant visas, international travel, all that sort of stuff, even the passports. So you can find this link in the description below, in the description of this video. This is for the visa bulletin. So once you have this page open, you're going to click on Contact Us right here at the very top, the small navigation menu. I'm going to open it a new tab. And once it decides to load, we're going to go to US Visa Contacts right here. And then you'll scroll down, you will see this table, and the very first row on the table, you will see Public Inquiry Form link right here. Just click on that, and then scroll down a little bit, and you will see Online Immigrant Visa Inquiries Only, which is exactly what you need, Public Inquiry Form. Click on that, and you will see the form right here. You'll have to put your NVC case number, principal applicant's name, petitioner's full name, who are you, whether you're the beneficiary or the petitioner, your email address, and the inquiry. In the inquiry, be very polite, be very professional. Just like I said, just requesting an update, basically. I'm documentarily qualified, my immigrant visa is available, but I still haven't gotten the interview. Please, just wanted to see what's going on. So that's option number 1 that you could do. Option number 2 is you can also submit an expedited request with the NVC, telling them, because you are documentarily qualified, your immigrant visa is available, so you do meet the necessary criteria in order to apply for that expedited request. It's no guarantee that they will accept it. It's no guarantee that they will respond to it at all, but it's worth a shot. You've been waiting long enough. Again, just be professional, be polite. I've done a video specifically on how to submit the expedited request with NVC. You can find it on this channel. And the very last option is reach out to your local US Embassy in Kenya. Call them up and say, hey guys, I am documentarily qualified. My immigrant visa is available, pretty much the same thing. I'm just waiting for an interview. And I wanted to see if you can, roughly tell me how your schedule looks and when approximately I should be expecting the interview. Again, it's at their discretion, so they might not give you any information at all. Don't be too upset if they don't. But it's worth a shot, because sometimes I've seen cases where they just check and they're like, oh yeah, we have our next open appointments are 3 months down the road or something like that. And it will be better to know. But I'm thinking you should be getting it literally anytime around the corner. All right, let's move on to the next one from Jay Modi. Hello, hope you are doing well. As I asked you my question in previous vlog and you answered it in this vlog that I need to recheck my old documents. Oh, Jay, yes, I remember. I think you might have had a different profile unless you changed the picture. But yes, I remember. My old documents are submitted or not. Yes, I did. I checked and all my documents are properly submitted, and in NVC account homepage shows submitted. Okay, perfect. FDR, financial and civil. Completed DS-260 and paid fees. Okay, Jay. I just wanted to make sure that you for sure submitted everything, because that one message that you had from NVC saying that action required or something along those lines, I just wanted to be on the safe side. So if everything looks good, if everything is submitted, then that's it. Hopefully they review it in no time. Usually it takes them, well, it depends. I don't remember which status you were in, but If your immigrant visa is already available or close to the availability of the immigrant visa, then they usually review the stuff once you submit it within like 2 months, 3 months. They review it and then they, either tell you, oh, you need something else, or they documentarily qualify you. But it might take a little bit longer in case if you're still waiting for the availability of the immigrant visa, again, depending on which category you're in. And it might take a little bit longer in that case. But as long as everything is done on your end, good to go. If you can, that would be really nice. Once you are documentarily qualified, come back to this channel and let us know that you're documentarily qualified, because it's nice for people to hear that, it's nice for people to hear the questions, obviously, and then hear the answers, of course. But it's also nice to hear somebody actually moving up in their immigration journey. Let's just call that. All right, let's move on to the next one from Advitya Jambwal. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name. Hello, sir. Can I apply for student visa while my I-130 is pending? If yes, you got any advice how to convince the officer that I would return? Advitya, yes, absolutely. You can definitely apply for the student visa, F1, non-immigrant student visa, while your I-130 is pending. A lot of times I give advice to people that have their family petitions and they're waiting for a long time to apply for a regular B1, B2 non-immigrant visitor visa, just so that the family can at least see each other, so that they can come here and see United States and so far, so forth. So it's really at the discretion of the consul where you will be going through your interview, because, it's really hard to tell. Somebody might look at it and say, okay, so, this person right here, they have the I-130 petition. Eventually it will be reviewed, it will be approved. Eventually this person will immigrate to the United States. Right now, this person wants to go and study in the United States. Why not? They go, they pay the fees, they pay the university, they go, they study, they kind of get used to life in the United States, kind of acclimatize, culture, all of that sort of stuff. So why not? That's great. That's good for the person, because when you are ready to actually immigrate to the United States, you will already be familiar with the United States. But then again, you might get someone who is like, oh, this person has a I-130 petition. He's planning to immigrate, or she's planning to immigrate. And if I give them F1 right now, they will immigrate right now and not come back. So it's really hard to tell, because again, it's at their discretion. There is no, I wish there kind of was a little bit better, a little bit more stricter regulations on these consuls, that they couldn't just deny stuff for no reason. Or at least if they do deny, they have to give a good explanation of why they denied, reasonable explanation, not just something dumb, because right now they just put a boilerplate response like, oh, you're whatever, you did not establish something, some stupid stuff that absolutely means nothing. We're completely boilerplate. So it's worth a shot. You're risking, well, probably about $160 for the interview, or however much it costs. Maybe some application fees with the university. So if you're waiting, let's say, if you have another 5-10 years to wait for, your I-130 petition, it definitely is worth a shot, I think. Don't be too upset if you are denied though the visa, because it is possible. It is a possibility. Now, whenever it comes to answering your last question about how to convince the officer that you would return, don't try to convince the consul. But what you can do is you can show, maybe you can come up with something to show the consul the reasons why you are not yet ready to immigrate into the United States. Maybe eventually, because your relative started petition for you and you want to eventually, right now you're not ready, and right now you want to use this time and opportunity to go and check out the United States while studying in the university, while also, improving your educational qualifications or something like this. And of course, to do that, you can bring with you to the interview some kind of evidence that shows that you still have the property in that country, some kind of real estate maybe. you still have a job that you're planning to hold, that is a good job maybe, or maybe you have, a big family there that you're not ready to, break the ties with and live to the United States completely. Something that shows that there are still things holding you in that country. But again, keep that in mind. It's not a guarantee, and really, a consul might be in a bad mood, and they will deny visa, unfortunately. All right, let's move on to the next one from Miguel Clark. Thank you, very informative, Miguel. I'm glad this was helpful. Let's move on to Kappa Pope. How long after being documentarily qualified you have to wait for an interview? Kappa, thank you for your question. So it really depends on if you're in the immediate relative, right? If your immigrant visa is already available, usually it is pretty quick. It can be 2 months, 3 months, but if you watch the whole video earlier, I was answering to Walal, and he is an immediate relative, IR2 category, and he's been waiting for quite some time now. He's been waiting for 10 months now. So you see, it can be substantial difference between how long people wait. It really depends on the US Embassy in the specific country and their schedule and availability. But if you're suspecting that it's been too long for you, then I would give you the same recommendations that I give to Walal, I think, yes, to either public inquiry with NVC, expedited request with NVC, and you can do all three. You don't have to do one of them. You can do all three, and reach out to the local U.S. Embassy and just ask them for an update. You might get it. I've know people that called and they gotten the answers. The people were nice at the embassy, and I also know people that called and they didn't get nothing. So don't be too upset. Unfortunately, again, because it is at discretion of U.S. Embassy. One of the problems right now, I'm gonna pause this and I'll continue discussing this subject a little bit. One of the problems with the interviews right now for immigrants that are, that has to do with the family petition, the family reunification, I-130, is that they are scheduled 30 days in advance to give you time to do that medical examination, and they don't want to schedule it more than 30 days in advance because they want the recent result of the medical examination. So let's say if they schedule, 6 months in advance, say, hey, in 6 months you're gonna have an immigrant visa interview. They don't want the person to go and do the medical examination so early and then go and later results. I mean, it's easily resolved. It's really easily resolved because they can simply say, hey, we will schedule these interviews as soon as we get the case from the NVC, documentarily qualified, that's it, we schedule it. Whether it's 6 months down the road or 1 year down the road. Except when it comes to medical examination, you have to do it 30 days before the interview. They could easily do that. I don't know why they just don't do that. Instead, they keep people guessing when their interview is going to be. It's the system is getting worse. It's getting more confusing, and unfortunately, whenever it comes to family immigration in general, there isn't much profit in it, and it just gets, a lot of stuff is just thrown under the table, under the rug, or whatever the expression is, unfortunately. All right, let's move on to the next one from Visitation Agustin. Hello, sir. May I know if petition applications are denied if there is no email address? No, I haven't seen any petitions denied. I'm assuming you're referring to I-130. However, with that being said, I would highly recommend getting an email address if you don't have one and putting it on the petition. And if you already submitted that petition, I would highly recommend updating that petition with the current email address. Why? Because all of the important notifications, especially with NVC, USCIS is not so much. They don't really, at least from what I've seen with USCIS, they don't really deal that much with emails. Not that much notifications. However, with the NVC, they are very much email heavy. all the updates, or if there is any request, if there is some kind of movement in your NVC portal, you get the email, and you don't want to miss those, because obviously, everything that has to do with family petition is important. You don't want to miss any of the notifications. So they will send you a mail, the same notification by mail that you will get, 1-2 weeks after the update happened. With the email, you get it instantly. So it's a huge plus to have the email. So no, it's not going to be denied, but I would highly recommend having the email so that you're on top of your case and you know what's going on. And then the second question, my husband petitioned my 2 sons who are single and above 21 years old on November 2015. Our petition filed in 2015 already processed. I see. Our petitions filed in 2015 already processed. Thank you, sir. Visitation, you're very welcome. Thank you for asking your question. So, 2 sons, they're unmarried, above 21. So, depends on which status your husband is in. If he's U.S. citizen, then your sons, they're going to be in F1 category. If he is a permanent resident, then they're going to be in F3 category. Also, it depends on the chargeability area, which country that your sons are immigrating from. So if we look at the visa bulletin, right now, F3 and F1, and I'm going to show you actually F1, unmarried sons and daughters of U.S. citizens over 21. They didn't put over 21 here, I don't know why. And then married sons and daughters, oh no, never mind. F3 is married sons and daughters. F2B is unmarried sons and daughters, 21 years of older of permanent residents. So they're going to be either in F1 or they're going to be in F2B category. So if we compare the two, F1, January 2017, F2B, January 2017. And then F1, F2B, December 2014, September 2015. So they're pretty much the same timeline. So if you have our petition filed in 2015, so if you have filed in 2015, and we see right now that it's January 2017, it's definitely 2 years over what is shown on the visa bulletin. So I would say by now, especially if you're F2B or even possibly F1, then most likely they're F2B, I'm thinking. But let me know in a follow-up comment if you can, exactly which category they're in, or if your husband is US citizen or a permanent resident, because it's right around this time that these petitions should be now processed. The immigrant visa should be available. I'm thinking you should be already working with the NVC to become documentarily qualified. I would be really surprised if you're not. Unless you are in the chargeability area of Mexico or Philippines. If your sons are in Mexico or Philippines, then yes, it might take longer. But let me know in a follow-up comment if you can. I would really appreciate it, and I might be able to give you a little bit better, still rough estimates, but a little bit better. All right, let's move on to the next one from Manuel Bernardo. Can I include my fiance on my process? I'm not married but lived together for years. Okay, that question was asked on I-589 application for asylum. Manuel, no, unfortunately you can't do fiance. It has to be the spouse. It has to be the children under 21 whenever it comes to, you will be including the, your family members on the petition, but they're not going to be as, fiance. You can't have her as a dependent on your asylum application. So a few options is either you would have to get married before filing that application for asylum, or you would have to file it whether as the main petitioner, applicant for asylum, or her being an applicant and then waiting for her status to be approved and then do the family reunification. So it is much easier if you're ready to get married, especially if you have been living for years. Why not just get married, man? Well, it's time to make the move. It's time to make the important move. All right, let's move on to the next one, to Apply. Apply, priority date April 2021. After the file is completed for Class F2A, which is spouses and children of permanent resident, and after submitting all required documents for NVC, How long does it take to wait for an interview at the US Embassy? Okay. And now the file is in the US State Department regarding the immigrant visa application. Ago 3 months. How long is the promise remaining? Is it a month or more? So priority date is April 2021. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the visa bulletin. We know that F2A has been recently updated. Right now it is showing September 2020, and that's for the graph A, which is the final action dates. Final action dates, they refer to the date when the petition was beneficiary or petition in general was documentarily qualified by the NVC. All right. So what this means is that the immigrant visas are right now becoming available for people in F2A who have been qualified, documentarily qualified in September 2020. So if your priority date is April 2021, let's take a look at the, well, we can't see it here because it shows current. Let's see, after the file is completed for class F2A and after submitting all requirements for NVC, how long? So have you been already documentarily qualified, Aptly? I guess I'm gonna have to ask you for a follow-up comment, if you can. And what date? If you have been already documentarily qualified, which I'm assuming you are, what was the date of becoming documentarily qualified? But a rough estimate, again, as you can see, there's about a little bit more than 2 years, maybe 2 and 3 months, 4 months, that people are waiting after becoming documentarily qualified for the availability of their immigrant visas. So if they're waiting for 2.5 years, then yes, the interview to get scheduled is about the same time, with, few months maybe faster, few months maybe slower, depending on the US Embassy in a particular country. So Apple, if you can come back and let me know if you were already documentarily qualified and when you were documentarily qualified, I might be able to give you a little bit more information. All right, let's move on to the next one from Miriam. Thank you very much for your answer. I appreciate it. I contacted the NVC Inquire and I will let you know what will they say about it. Thank you, Miriam. You're very welcome. I'm glad my answer was helpful. Yes, definitely let us know what they respond. Hopefully they respond in a prompt and positive manner with actual information and not some boilerplate response. Like a lot of times they do, and if they do, don't be upset. Don't be upset because a lot of times that's what they do. All right, moving further to Trudy Bubs. Trudy, thank you for another comment. Appreciate it. Hello, sir. I'm answering your follow-up question. No, my sister was not added as a sponsor and still is not added as a sponsor after being documentary qualified. Got it. Only my mother, as she is the petitioner. Got it. Perfect. But you did answer my question that I can't carry the new document in a separate folder just in case that question comes up and have all the other documents that was uploaded in another folder. Thanks, sir. You have been very helpful. Trudy, I'm glad this was helpful. Good luck with the interview. Definitely provide us the update of how that goes. That will be very, very helpful. And moving further to another question from Ukraine. Hi. Thanks for your video. You're very welcome. Thank you for watching. I hired immigration attorney and paid him. Same day got contract and it is already a week I don't hear from him. Man, he's the kind of guy that's stretching time until deadline. What to do if I paid already? Sorry you're dealing with this. I'm very sorry you're dealing with this. This is messed up. And yeah, this is we get upset and we get angry at the system, the bureaucracy in the government and all the the structure, the immigration in general. The immigration field is just a big disaster. But I think it angers me more to see people who are free from the system. They don't have to deal with this. They don't have to participate in this technically. The immigration attorneys, because it's not their personal cases. It's not their life that is at stake. It's not their families. And yet they get into the system and they take advantage of people that have their lives at stake, that have their families at stake, everything at stake. It's really sad. So I'm very sorry you're dealing with this. Here are a few things that you can do. First of all, read through the contract if you haven't done it already, and see what are the clauses over there. It might be, it might be in rare cases, it might be situational. Something happened with an attorney, he's busy with something, blah, blah, blah. He will come back to you and apologize and make it up to you and be a great attorney. Might be the case. Hopefully. We will see. But if you get that feeling that this is the kind of guy he is, that stretches out time to drag it out, to make as much money out of you as possible, then this is already a bad start, and you probably want to, before anything was done on your case, to break that contract and get rid of the attorney. Now, if the recommendation is, if you read through the contract, make sure, look for something that talks about the termination of the contract, first of all, if there are any penalties for you for terminating the contract, and if there are any specific clauses for the contract that refer to him and his actions. Let's say, if he's unresponsive for a certain amount of time, is that a reason for a termination of the contract? If you by now have not resolved anything with the attorney, the number one option that all of the attorneys are really worried about, they're all scared about, and a lot of people do not know, is reaching out to a bar association in that particular state. So let's say if you're in New York, then you would be reaching out to New York bar, and all you need to do is just Google and let's say New York Bar Association. There you go, it comes up right away. Go New York Bar Association homepage, the website, and most likely it should be public resources probably. Let's see, guide attorney, law, use, citizenship, lawyer, referral, pro bono, fees, legal, no, client rights and responsibility. Probably in clients and rights or guide to attorney. This, but we'll just click on public resources and see if we get a complaint form, because that's what you're looking for. You wanna contact, you wanna reach out to the bar association in your state and say, or you can just go contact us. There you go. Let's see, contact us, and you can just call them. Yeah, and I'm sure they will be able to give you guidance. And the same thing, for example, it doesn't matter which state it is. It can be, California Bar Association. And the same thing, again, you see, it's a government, it's an official website. For each website, obviously, you'd have to do, there you go. Here, very nice. They put it on the front page right away. How to file an attorney misconduct complaint. And you just call the 1-800 number for help. And really, that's all you're doing. You're calling the bar association. This is your number one step. And most of the times, 99% of the times, it will be resolved. If the attorney disappeared on you, he will reappear like he never disappeared. And he will be, a good guy. Honestly, still, even after him reappearing, it's already, he gave you a little bit of the taste of his ethics, and that they're not good. You already know that. You already realize what kind of guy he is. So for you, probably the best thing to do is through bar association, figure out the way to break that contract without any penalty for you, so that you can get all your money back without any kind of penalties to you. And then you can do some more shopping around. Now you have a little bit of more experience in dealing with attorneys, in seeing how the contracts look, and knowing what bad attorneys do. Now, knowing all of this information, you can go ahead and find yourself somebody who is much better. And you actually commented on the video on how to find a good immigration attorney. So you're already aware about, finding somebody who provides free consultation. This is a must-have. Absolutely must have. A good immigration attorney will provide a free consultation, and they will be upfront with everything. How much is going to cost approximately, how much time is going to take approximately, what can go wrong, what are the chances of this being successfully completed. all the forms that are involved. There will be no, hidden cards or nothing. This is not a, poker game. This is, you're hiring somebody who's going to work for you in order to help you accomplish a certain, goal that has to do with, obviously, the field of immigration. If by some circumstances the bar association is not helpful, I have not seen cases like this because they're very strict. They're very strict. If somebody's acting up, an attorney, bar association is on top of that. The complaints, they're not just, you send a letter and it's a review, like somebody posted a review and nobody cares. No, they actually hold the attorney responsible. So the attorney is definitely going to regret disappearing on you. That is for sure. But in case if this is not successful through the bar association, another option you have is reaching out to the elected officials. It can be the state senators, whatever kind of state representatives, whoever is elected in your state. You can contact their office and say, hey, I'm an immigrant. When you say I'm an immigrant, it already, kind of shows that, especially young immigrants, new immigrants who just came here, who are just now in the immigration process, it shows that, it's not an easy time for a person. It's not an easy time. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of expenses. And when you have someone who might have been born here, grew up here, went to law school, has a career of an attorney, taking advantage of young immigrants, honestly, it's quite honestly, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. And sadly, there's a lot of, here in the United States especially, under the slogans of, capitalism and free market. I'm not against free market or capitalism or anything like that. Everybody has a right to do whatever, their business and stuff. But when you take away the values, the moral values behind it, when you take away God and, being kind to people, being loving to people, loving your neighbors as you love yourself, and starting to take advantage of people's situation, then it all goes wrong, and we see it a lot, unfortunately, happen, here in this country and around the world. So I really wish you luck. If you can, let me know, come back, if you have any follow-up questions, let me know any questions you have, as many questions for everyone who's watching these videos. As many questions as you have, they're all welcome on this channel. I'm grateful for this channel, and if my answers are helpful, then to me it's a blessing. That's really all I need. So thank you everyone for your questions. Thank you everyone for watching. Appreciate your time. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.